Hey, good day, everybody. Captain Lou here with another edition of Tigers Daily in partnership with the Pan Arch Network. Happy Thursday, August the 13th, 2026. Before we get started, a reminder for those of you that are checking us out for the first time, we say welcome to the Tigers Daily family. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel here on Tigers Daily. You get all the banner, all the talk, the good, the bad, and everything in between of the Tigers. We talk about all the latest rumors, what's going on in the Tigers organization and Major League Baseball. We take a look at the game from the night before, and we take a peek at what's ahead for the Tigers as well. For those of you that have subscribed, I say thank you very much. The response has been absolutely amazing. Can't say enough about it. The viewership has been off the charts. It just proves that you, the Tiger fan base, are one of the most passionate of all fan bases in all of sports. And again, I love being a part of it. I'm just a Tigers fan, just like you, a passionate Tigers fan. So again, I say thank you to that. And welcome again to another edition of Tigers Daily. Hey, also, we want to welcome in a new partner here to the Tigers Daily Network, and that is Kalshi. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use the promo code FANARCHBASEBALL and to get $10 when you trade 10. Baseball season is here, and now you can trade every game with Kalshi. All right, well, not so happy of a clubhouse this morning for the Tigers at Comerica Park. Tough one last night, losing by the same identical score that they won on Tuesday night, 6-4 to the Guardians. So the series is all knotted up at 1. Yeah, it was a tough start for Framber Valdez. He just couldn't, again, get out of the first inning unscathed. Gave up a couple of runs, although the Tigers were able to get those runs back in the first inning. And they actually took the lead 3-2. But again, Valdez didn't look like he had his best stuff. Even though he threw 102 pitches in 5 2/3 innings, he gave up that long ball to the newest Cleveland Guardian Tiger killer, that being Joe Adell. He's had a monster series already for the Guardians against the Tigers, hasn't he? He looked so scary in that game the other night when he was batting against Kenley Jensen. He's had 2 home runs now against the Tigers in this series, a series which wraps up this afternoon at Comerica Park. So this is a big game for the Tigers coming up today to take the series and keep pace with the Texas Rangers for that final wild card spot, and of course the Chicago White Sox in the American League Central. Still only a half game out of a wild card spot, so if you want to look for an upside after losing last night, there it is. Tigers still only a half game out for that wild card spot. Now, again, the Guardians with the 6-4 win. Valdez, 4 runs earned in 5 2/3 innings. Troy Madden came in, gave up an earned run in the 7th, along with DeJesus coming off the paternity list. Again, congratulations to him and his wife, brand new baby daughter. So congratulations to them. But unfortunately, he gave up a run in the top of the 7th as well. Rainey came in. He pitched 1 2/3 innings. Solid relief for him. Detroit needed that in the 8th and 9th inning to get him through. But it was just a little too much for the Tigers. 6-4, that loss to the Guardians. As we mentioned, Gleyber Torres gave the Tigers a 3-2 lead with a home run early, that being in the 3rd inning. But again, it wasn't enough. Detroit had their chances, though, in the 9th inning. Runners on 1st and 2nd with 1 out. And kind of a puzzling at bat. Now, I'm going to cut Dylan Dingler some slack. I mean, he's played solid for the Tigers all year. He's been their MVP in my opinion. But 0 for 5 last night, couple of strikeouts. And that 9th inning strikeout was puzzling. 3 called strikes without swinging. Now, the first 2, the first one was right on the corner. I get it. The second one, he looked confused. And with Corey Smith, really, for the most part, just throwing heat, 100 miles an hour. I know he was throwing in a cutter here and there, a changeup, but wow. I mean, that 3rd strike, the bat didn't even come off the shoulder. And again, hey, I'd probably be the same way. I'm not a major league hitter. I get it, but these guys are. And I was surprised that he didn't at least swing at the 3rd strike to protect the plate with runners on 1st and 2nd. But again, that kind of a mystifying at bat there for the Tigers. Hopefully it's just a fluke. I'm sure it is. You can't really dog Dingler. He's been the MVP for the Tigers. So many clutch hits, especially with 2 strikes. Kevin McGonigal couldn't quite get the hit it into the hole. in between second and third, in between short and third. But what a play by the shortstop to get that third out. So the Tigers drop 6-4 to the Guardians. So they go for the series win today. It's going to be Kiter Montero against Parker Misick. Misick 9-6, 257 earned run average for the Guardians, 136 strikeouts. So he's got the strikeouts going this year. So it's going to be a very, very good matchup between two quality pitchers. Montero coming off a tough outing against the San Francisco Giants last Friday. He has good outings, and then he has kind of a clunk, not really a clunker, but not his best. So let's hope that we can get a solid outing out of him. Hoping for 7 innings, obviously. 6 solid innings for the Tigers would be great as the Tigers look to take the series, as I mentioned, to keep pace with the Rangers and with the White Sox. Kind of an intriguing at-bat, though, that I want to talk about last night in that game against the Guardians, against Corey Smith, was Max Clark. 12-pitch at-bat. I know he struck out, but if there's, and I'm not big into moral victories. All moral victories means you still have an L in the column, right? So, I get it. But I loved what I saw. If you've ever loved a strikeout, this might be the one that you would like the most. I mean, he battled. He wasn't intimidated. You could tell by his demeanor. He kept fighting off those splitters, those off-speed pitches, those 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. Now, I know eventually he struck out swinging on that 101-mile-an-hour fastball, but just something about it. I just love his attitude. I just love his swagger. And I've said it before, he just reminds me so much of Kirk Gibson when he was coming up for the Tigers, and that's exciting. I can't wait to see more out of Max Clark. So I know it was a strikeout. I get it. But to me, it was a very, very good at-bat. And, again, moral victories don't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. It's still a loss in the loss column. But I really enjoyed that at-bat, and I think the future, obviously, is so bright for Max Clark, even though he struck out in the 8th inning with the runners in scoring position. So now we mentioned not quite enough in the game last night, and also news before the game, and it was expected. Riley Green was put on the IL for the Tigers, hamstring tightness. He got beaned in the game on Tuesday night as well. And, he scored from first on that double off of the bat of Spencer Torkelson. And so he's on the IL. Corey Jelks got called up. He went 0 for 2. He played right field, then he got pulled for defensive replacement and then for a pinch hitter. But it begs the question I want to ask, in your opinion, who do you think should be called up next for the Tigers? Now, my opinion, it should be Max Anderson. He's batting .317 in Toledo, 12 home runs, an OPS of .922. Those are huge numbers. Now, I know Jelks has got 15 home runs. He can hit the long ball. I get it. But I'm wondering now, it's mid-August, what are they waiting for to call up Max Anderson? And maybe is it because he plays second base for Toledo, but I just find it hard to believe you cannot put him in right field and also DH him when you've got, Altman batting .182. Now, I know there's a glut of infielders for the Tigers. You got Hao-Yu Lee playing magnificently since his call-up June 1st. I know you got to try to find a spot for him as well. But I just find it hard to believe that you can't call up Max Anderson. Now, here's the deal with Anderson. He's not on the 40-man roster either, so they're going to have to make that decision. If they don't put him on the 40-man roster at the end of the year, he's going to be eligible for the Rule 5 draft. And we all know that he'll be scooped up just like that. So at the least, I would think that the Tigers are going to put him on the 40-man roster so they can protect him so he's not taken in the Rule 5 draft. But I would love to see him, if nothing else, as one of the September call-ups for the Tigers in the stretch drive. I think they're going to need his stick. I think he's proven that he deserves a shot. Now, we'll see what they do with Jelks. Will he be sent down when Riley Green comes back? Now, I look at some of the other players that are on the injured list for the Tigers. Kerry Carpenter. He's battling the plantar fasciitis. All he can really do is, he can't run. So he's not really resuming normal activities yet. Matt Vierling, I know he's still rehabbing down in Lakeland. Does he deserve another shot at a call-up? Wencel Perez, with his eye injury, he was pulled off his rehab yesterday. Don't have any updates on that. So I don't know. Are we going to see him the rest of the year? So my next call up to me would be Max Anderson. Now, again, I would love to see him this year, at worst, as one of the September call-ups. I think he's deserved that opportunity for the Tigers. So we'll just wait and see on that. So, and again, a reminder, he's got to get on that 40-man roster, and I would think the Tigers, at least I would hope, that they would at least do their diligence to put him on that 40-man roster. I'm sure they will, so he doesn't get scooped up in that Rule 5 draft. So again, I want to remind everybody, too, that we want to welcome our new partner to Tigers Daily, that being Kalshi. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app. Use that promo code FanArchBaseball, and you'll get $10 when you trade 10. It's that simple. So try it out. Download the app and use the promo code FanArchBaseball, and you'll get $10 when you trade 10. Baseball season is here. And, of course, that means you can trade every game on Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every single game. Now, for example, the Tigers, the probability right now is 49%, which kind of means they're an underdog. So if you trade them right now, let's say you put $10 in on a trade, your return on investment will be $20.51. You're trading against your peers. That's the one thing. You're not going against the house, which means the probability changes. And as it changes, you can buy in or out of your position. It's that simple. So again, for a limited time, use the promo code FanArchBaseball, and you'll get $10 when you trade 10. So let's welcome Kalshi as our new partner here on Tigers Daily, in partnership as well with FanArchBaseball. All right, now one of the questions that I wanted to ask here today on the show is, we've been talking about the hard cap in Major League Baseball, how the owners want it, especially a lot of them now with what's gone on at the trade deadline with the Dodgers trading for Skubal and all that, the rich get richer, all of that sentiment that really is prevalent in Major League Baseball with the owners and, of course, with the fans, a lot of the fans. Well, one of the other aspects of the MLB CBA presentation that they want, one of their offers is they want to institute a salary floor. And what the salary floor means is that all the teams have to spend a certain amount on their contracts. And the salary floor that they're proposing is $171.2 million. Now, to get to that, half of the teams in Major League Baseball would have to bump up what they pay their players, their salaries, their payroll. Now, of course, at the top are the Dodgers. They're at $317 million, so to speak. That's not including all the deferred money that they're going to be paying down the road. But at the bottom are the Guardians. They're just a tick under $80 million. Then you've got the Marlins. Then you've got the the St. Louis Cardinals. So those are just some of the teams. Those are just some of the salaries right now. The Athletics at $96 million. The Nationals at $98 million. I guess my point is, where's the money going to come from for these teams all of a sudden that are going to want to push up to $171 million? I would love to be in the room with the caucus room for the owners. Now, I know one of the ideas that they're coming up with to bump up the salaries to the salary floor is the revenue sharing on the television markets. Now, again, I go back to some of these numbers, and I find fascinating. Now, with Major League Baseball right now, you look at what some of these teams are getting for their salaries, and I had it, of course I lost it, but the Dodgers are obviously, they've got the biggest television budget right now, and this is without the national television revenue that they get, which is split equally, the $1.9 billion. Each team gets $65 million. So the Dodgers right now, their television contract yearly their local contract is $334 million. So you add that $60 million, they're getting $400 million just in television revenue. Now the Padres, on the other hand, are at the bottom. And I'm dumbfounded by that, because right now the Padres are getting like $30 million. That's what the Cardinals are getting as well from their local contracts. So I guess the reason that I asked, first of all, do you think a salary floor is feasible in Major League Baseball? Do you think that would work? Now, I know the players don't want the salary cap. I know they would love to have a floor, obviously, because that means more money would be available for contracts. Now, again, the owners are projecting, they're proposing, the revenue share with all, with the television contracts being shared equally. And the reason I'd like to be in that caucus room with the owners is, what is the presentation that some of these smaller teams are making to some of these teams to get them to agree to share the wealth on their television deals? I mean, this isn't the NFL where they don't have, regional telecasted games. So that's why I asked, is this salary floor really realistic? Will it really work in Major League Baseball? What do you think? So just a question I've been pondering, was thinking about that with the contract negotiations. Again, they're going to be here before you know it. The season's going to be over. The lockout is looming December 1st. So many things on the table for Major League Baseball off the field. It's going to be such a tenuous offseason for the Tigers and Major League Baseball. So just a question I ask you, do you think a salary floor would really work in Major League Baseball? I tend to think, I don't know. And do you think it's a realistic expectation in baseball coming up with the new CBA? I guess that might be the better question. Do you think it really will work, and do you think it'll actually happen, a salary floor in Major League Baseball? All right, let's take a look at the standings real quick in Major League Baseball. We talked about it at the top. The Tigers, even with the loss, the Rangers lost as well, so they're still just a half game out of the playoffs, or the final wild card in Major League Baseball. The Twins won yesterday, so they're also just a half game out. And taking a look at Major League Baseball in that wild card, it's an absolute mess. The Guardians with the win, they're a game back. Game and a half back sits the Toronto Blue Jays now. They've won 3 straight. The Orioles, they're 2 back. And the Mariners, even though they've lost 6 in a row, they're still 4 back. And the Boston Red Sox, they've lost 5 straight. So they're still in the second wild card spot. We'll keep an eye on them. Have they cooled off? And the Yankees, they hold the top wild card spot, 8.5 games up over Texas, or actually over the Twins in first place as far as the wild card standings go. Division leaders, the Rays in the East, the White Sox, 3.5 games up. They won last night, so they're 3.5 up on the Tigers and the Twins for second place. The Guardians climbed to within 4. The Astros won again yesterday. They're 2 games over 500, so they're now a game and a half up on the Rangers, 5.5 up on the Mariners. And in the East, the Braves, their lead is now 9.5 games on the Phillies as they won again. The Phillies lost their second straight. The Marlins trying to make a run. They're 11 back. And the Brewers right now, their lead is down to 3. They got beat again by the Padres last night. So their lead now just 3 games over the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs have won 3 straight. The Dodgers now, they've won 3 straight. The Padres have won 5 straight. So the Padres are now in second place in the National League West, 8.5 games behind the Dodgers. And in that wild card race over there in the National League, the Diamondbacks and the Phillies are tied for the third and final wild card spot. The Padres have the second spot at, the magical live TV, right? The Padres are a game up now for that second wild card spot. The Marlins and the Cardinals nipping at the heels, just a game and a half out and 2.5 out, respectively. And the important number that I want to bring up here today is that magic number that we think, the number that it will take the Tigers to get into the playoffs, and that is 85 and 77. Now, for that to happen, the Tigers now have to go 26 and 16 for the rest of the regular season. 42 games left in Major League Baseball. 83 wins might get them in. I mean, it would probably at the pace they're going at right now, but I just don't want to trust that because I could see a team or two getting hot. To get to 83 wins, the Tigers obviously then would have to go 24 and 18 to get to 83 and 79. And the crazy thing right now, the way it's going in a pathetic American League, the Tigers, if they get to 85 wins, and they were to win the division, which I'm telling you right now is altogether possible, that would probably get you a first-round bye in the American League playoffs, and they would go right to the divisional round. So crazy how it's going in the American League. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments, as we always do. Thoughts on Scooble, what we talked about yesterday about kind of with Skubal and with Scott Boras kind of manipulating, trying to maybe stage a bidding war, because with the lockout on December 1st, as we mentioned yesterday, if Skubal doesn't have a contract, he's not getting paid from the compensatory fund from the Players Association. So however long the lockout goes and the strike, those guys are fearing a strike and a lockout, or a work stoppage of one way or another. So, yeah, the price of poker's gone up. They're going to have to get that contract done sooner rather than later. They can't wait until February or March. There won't be anything going on with the lockout. So we asked the question yesterday, do you think that they're trying to get that bidding war going? And Skubal talking all nicey nice about the Tigers. How about Corley Leland? My thoughts, Skubal doesn't need to fake interest in returning to Detroit. He's already got more money than he needs to live with the rest of his life. He hopes that AJ starts James Outman. Seriously, he's got the better option. I don't know about what Altman's got to do with it, but okay. And, Dr. Proteus says he thinks I'm right about Skubal. He was thinking the exact same thing. And here's a question from, let me see, I'm going to put my glasses on for these. A light body, 5219. Why don't the starting pitchers go the distance anymore? That's the $1 million question. I think that's going to be the way of the covered wagon, man, and dirt roads. I mean, they're just not going to do it anymore. They make too much money. There's too much risk of injury. They're just not going to do it. Even if they got a perfect game going in the ninth inning, I don't see it happening. We talked about the game. Katie Dykstra, she was at the game, talking about the game the other night with the Tigers and Kenley Jansen in the ninth inning. She said, my heart stopped in the ninth inning with 2 on and a base hit would be it. The double steal, we forgot to talk about that. What a great move the double steal was, including Ramirez as the ball bounced off his glove. Game changer. Go Tigers. And we also want to thank Jeffrey Young, 2432, first-time listener, likes the program. I appreciate the kind words. I'll take the good and the bad. And just a couple of more comments here. How about from Jerry Reitzema, 9884. Jansen scares the life out of me every time he pitches. Thank you for the input on the Tigers. Absolutely. And again, Timothy Smith, 83. Skubal's making $32 million this year, and Boras is worried about getting blocked from a union strike fund. What a joke Skubal has become. Now, I don't have any proof on that, but that's just what the optics are with this. And again, we talked about it. He's got a month to negotiate a contract. And so I think November, I say a month, that's when the season ends. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a very unique November. I think you're going to see some free agency contracts signed quick. Because, again, if you listen to some of the owners and some of the GMs that have been, polled anonymously, they're fearing that there may not be a season next year. Or if it starts, it won't be till July. So just something to think about. So, all right, that's going to do it for this edition of Tigers Daily in partnership with the Fan Arts Network and Kalshi. Again, I want to thank everybody that took time out to be with us today. Our questions, who do you think should be brought up next for the Tigers from Toledo or from Erie? And my other question for you, if you care to take part in our comments, do you think a salary floor would work in Major League Baseball? And is it a realistic option that'll be there once the new CBA has worked out sometime after the season's over? All right. Again, thanks everybody for joining us. Until tomorrow, Captain Lou saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. So long.